Well, in my working on these seats, I still have the handrails to go and some final fitting. But I'm trying to look ahead a little bit. When the seats are done, I need to get more into the body work again with the side panels. This framework here needs to be steam bent. But before I can do that, I actually need the framework installed for the rear panel for the rear seat. And I have part of an old one, and I've got it here laying on its side. I have looked at this briefly in the past, but this framework here is what I need to steam bend. There are 3 ribs through the center that are about 1 inch thick, one here, and one here. But on the outside edge, there is one that is close to 3 inches thick. This one actually measures 2 3/4, but I think I'm going to bend it at 3 inches so I can shape it down to the width I need. And it needs to fit this contour. And this is the bottom portion of that framework that'll show me the type of curve that I need. And I'll show you where it came off of. See, this would fit right in this area here. So I've been playing with a pattern, trying to get a feel for what this would look like, as I need a pattern to bend by. So I'm coming up with this kind of close here. And my biggest area of interest is this curve right here. This is where it is the tightest, and then it gradually gets less up through the back. So I need to find a form that's going to be close here. Now we're right at 2 inches at this point here, and we gradually taper all the way down. Now I've made this form 1.5 inches. This actually comes down closer to 1 1/4 inches, almost to 1 1/8 up on the top. So the back side I will continue to taper down, but right now I want this pattern so when I put it up against the wood as it's bending to kind of know where I need to come to. What I'm going to do is actually put it on a form that will make this as complete kind of a U shape. I'm going to bend 2 pieces at once. You know how my bender works. I have to pull up from both directions. Then I'll be able to split this in the middle, and I'll have 2 pieces that will make 2 parts to my back, which I need these 2 3/4 for outside. And then I'm going to have to do another bend for these narrower framework that comes in through the middle. Now my forms are wide enough. I could bend 2 of these side by side and bend 6 inches wide, 2 inches thick. Now my bender is powerful enough to do that, but I'm actually only going to bend 1 at a time. I want this upper part, which is going to be the outer legs, to kind of bend a bit as well. Now they're going to be 2 inches thick, so I'm going to have some room to put this taper within that 2 inches. The biggest concern is right here. So I need to go find some 8/4 material and then rip some 3 inch. What I'm thinking, I'll end up at 2 3/4. Now these are just under 4 feet. So I can bend a total 8 feet, which fits just right for my banding, because I have several bands that are 8 feet long, and get these bent, hopefully. So I actually have a number of forms here to kind of work through. This one is a 26, this one is a 30, and these are full circle, or I should say uniform half round circles. So this is my pattern. This would be the middle, so I would end up bending something like so, which this one might be a little tight for the toe here. If you can see that, it might be a little tight, but yet I have to factor in that it is going to relax. So I wonder about this one. This 30 is maybe a little closer to actual. You can see how uniform that is clear up to here. I'm kind of liking that one, but I'm not sure how much spring back I would have in that. If it were to stay right there, that 30 is really pretty close. But I have a third one, but it's not a full circle. It has a little more of a flat down here. I'll show you what I made these for. Let's see, this one, this is the center line. This one's not bad. Still might be a little tight here. But again, I have to factor in how much spring back am I going to have. I'll show you what I use this one for. When I bend one-piece tongue hounds like this piece here, see, it's not a full circle half round, but it has more of a flat spot on top and then comes down. See, this is where the tongue would fit, so this fits on the front axle. And the one on the other side there, see, that's 2 inches thick by 3 inches wide. And that's similar to what I'm going to bend for this frame, but again, you can see that non-round shape at the bottom. So I'm kind of leaning toward this one here. This will give me a very uniform shape here. And then with this being continually getting narrower, I should be able to have enough room in here to allow for any spring back. I'm kind of hoping, and if I split it right here, I'll get my 2 pieces out of that. But that would give me a nice consistent bend to right in through here. And this would be just kind of a gradual bend. Might be the wrong choice, but I think that's what I'm going to try the first time. And if it doesn't work, then I'll probably go to this one here. So this board here was 16 feet 4 inches. So I split it right in the middle, and yeah, maybe it was 16.2. I'm at 8.1, so I can trim a little bit, but you can see I have knots on both ends. But they're going to be on the end, and what I'm concerned about is the middle. The majority of the bend is going to be at the 4 foot mark, coming out 12 to 16 inches on either side. So I have nice clean lumber here, and if I look at the edge grain here, it's nice and straight as well. So this is what I'm going to use first time around, and probably for the whole thing. And if I take a 3 and a 3, actually that leaves me 4 inches. I could take the other 3 to 3.5 and maybe bend that as one piece, and then I could maybe get 3 of my 1 inch ribs out of one bend. So just a test fit to make sure my banding is correct. So I have a little space here, which is maybe 1/8 inch. I keep some 1/8 inch strapping here so I can take up that space. It's easier to have it slip in comfortably and then shim the ends than it is to try to force it in when it is hot and I'm losing time. It won't quite take 2. It will take 1. You can see these are no longer at a 90 degrees, so I'm really concerned about this inside corner here, because that's what's going to stop against this. And then the pressure of the wood as it's bending has over time bent my angle iron here. But this is what I'm most concerned about. That's what you do not stretch. So when I put it in and clamp it into place, I'll put either one or two of these in place to take up that difference. So you can see I'm just starting to build steam. I don't have it latched tight yet. If I just put light pressure on it, you can see it's starting to build a little pressure. Not a lot, but this is where it starts. So I think you all know that I run this off of coal. This heats up about 25 gallons within this tank here. There's a tank inside this tank that actually contains the water. Well, I've got a little time, so I think I'll try to make some headway on my seats. So we're getting pretty close to going. This is my pattern. As my wood is bending, I'm going to use this kind of as a gauge to know when I want to stop. I'm hoping that this will just naturally take a little bend to it as it's being pulled up. I don't want to pull it up straight, I don't think. I do have another stick here that I've made that if it's not doing this bend, I'm going to put it in here and kind of stop it at this point somewhere and try to make this come into a little bit of a curvature. I have some room in my trimming area, but that's the goal, something like so. Well, I didn't get a lot of bend through here like I was hoping, just a little too stiff. On the next one, I could maybe begin my taper. I didn't want to weaken this too much and not force pressure into this bend. I like this bend here, and I can play with this a little bit in position and probably make it fit. Like I say, the biggest concern is this right here, and I think we are there. This little 3/4 inch board, this is a piece of maple, wasn't near enough to stop that, but I could see that I needed to make that stop and put hopefully a little bit in there. I may get a heavier board and put in there and then put my come-alongs across and see if maybe I can't put a little bend into that if I haven't lost my heat already. I don't know if that'll help me or not, but all you can do is try. Well, this has now been on the form for about 16 hours. I let it set overnight. Good and cool now. I'm going to take it off of the form and I'll see if I take it out of the band. It should be okay to take it out of the band and kind of see what we've got. I'm going to relax it here a little bit. So if we look here, you can see the impressions that my wood sticks that I put in, this is the heavy one, this is the light one, what a deep impression that made. That's just an indication of really how soft that material is when it comes out of the steamer. But I should be able to transfer my winch to my come-along. That'll get me loose off of my form. Let's kind of get a picture of how my pattern matches up here. I have a pencil mark that I put here that shows where the center is. I think we're going to fit right in there. It's going to be workable within my 2-inch span here. Like I say, this needs to actually come quite a little bit narrower. We're within here, we're right there. I can shape what little bit I need to there. So I think I'll take it out of the form and I'll put my pipe clamp across and try to hold it in this position. Set it by the stove and just let it dry. So right now my ends are pretty close to 3 foot apart. So I'll try to maybe clamp it in that position there. It only sprang about 1 inch. That's really pretty good. And right there, that 36 right there. Well, let me take it over to my table saw and we'll double check it again. So I'm always concerned about this outside curve here, whether I would get any stretches or cracks, and there is no sign of that at all. That looks really nice. And as far as my pattern goes, here's my center. Looks like I need to rotate this just a bit to get this top in line. I'd say we're going to fit right there. That's sure enough going to work. When I narrow this up a little bit, it'll actually allow me to rotate this back just a hair and fit well within the parameters of this 2-inch. So as I rotate this along the curve of this bent piece, you can see how I can bring this upper portion into alignment and it'll fit right there just right, with some room to spare there and plenty extra down here on the toe. You know, bending wood is always somewhat of an unknown to some degree. The amount of spring back is really that unknown portion. But when you do a heavy bend like this, 2 inches thick, 3 inches wide, and you do it on such a tight bend, All that bend is happening because you were compressing the inside fibers of this wood and keeping the outside circumference constant. So when you have that much upset, the spring back becomes less and less. When you have a real gradual bend and not a lot of compression in that wood, that's where you have a lot of spring back. So I was kind of counting on that I wouldn't have a lot. We ended up with 1 inch. That's pretty decent. I'll tack a board across the top there so I can take my clamp off, set it by the stove, get my next one bent. I don't think I need to worry so much about trimming this down. I think it fits within this 2-inch parameter for this upper portion of the frame. This is going to allow us to put that back frame on the Stagecoach body. And that's kind of a milestone. It's kind of a big deal to bend this for that coach. So before I sign out again, I want to remind you and thank you for checking out the store across the street, treasuresoutwest.com. She has included her line of huckleberry products, syrups and jams and jellies, that type of deal. And if you notice on the home page when you go to there, it's a picture of when you walk in the door, and you'll notice quite a big display of handmade rugs. Well, there's a gal here, she goes by Montana Folksy, who hand makes all these rugs. And they're really nice rugs, and here locally she sells quite a few of those. We have a number of them in our home as well. They aren't real thick and heavy like a lot of rag rugs are. These are actually made all out of new material, and they're fairly thin. So me and my clumsy feet, I don't find myself tripping over them. And that's what I don't like about rugs, but I do like her rugs. So keep tabs on that. She has included some in there for placemats, and Kathy's going to be including a lot of her rugs in the store as well. So check back in periodically because she is constantly adding new items that are in the store. She just doesn't have them on the online store yet. We are out of our mugs just briefly, but we have them restocked and back in the store as well. So we appreciate all your support and we appreciate you coming along. Thanks for watching.